All right, guys. We are at the second annual Inkcarceration Festival. I've got my buddies here. We go way back. We're with the Everyday Losers. I got Tyler, Dylan, Colin. You guys kicked off the side stage yesterday, and man, watching social media, there was a lot of people ready to see you guys. That stage was packed. It went over great. Tell me, how did it feel when you're on stage and there's that many people in the crowd and they're just screaming the music back, involved? I mean, you could tell on your faces that just was surreal.
I mean, being able to do that is just pretty much, what we want to do. Like, we want to play for people that want to be there, want to have a good time. And if they're having a good time, you can sense it, you can feel it. It's in the air, a rock show, and we just feed off that and have the best time we can, really. We're just so lucky to be able to play music in front of people. So
tell me, I mean, you guys did Rockfest, what was it, last year you guys did Rockfest up in Wisconsin? I mean, was it right after Guar you guys went on? But this year, this festival has a different kind of feel to it.
Definitely.
We did an email interview a few weeks ago. You guys talked a little bit about how this is probably the biggest step for you guys that you guys have had so far. What separates this festival from other festivals you guys have played?
With this one, there's the two stages, and there's not stages being played at the same time. So that's cool. Like, people can walk from the main stage and go straight to the second stage and catch both acts that are playing. We did Rockapalooza, and there was 5 stages, so there was like 2 or 3 stages at a time playing.
Right.
So it was either you watch us or Coolio. Yeah. So yeah, with last year Rockfest, it was storming, so people left like even before Incubus played.
Really?
Yeah. So we just see everyone disbanding and leaving, and it's like, oh no. It's like our opportunity. But
gotcha.
Yeah, this one's just I feel like we fit a little better because it's like primarily alternative rock bands and hard rock, which is cool because we definitely fit that vibe. So
right. Well, and plus you've got some bands you guys have played with in the past on this festival. Smell Empty Souls here this weekend. I mean, you guys have played and toured with some bigger bands. I mean, touring with Saliva, Smile Empty Soul. I think the first time I saw you guys, you were opening for Smile Empty Soul and Kokomo, which was a fun show. But I mean, talk a little bit about how doing some regional runs and national runs with bands of that level kind of prepared you for this stage.
I mean, when you do tours like that, it's like you got 30 minutes and you're not playing to your crowd, you're playing to the headliner, so you have to really put on a good show. And there's just something that about 4 or 5 shows like that in a row, it's just nut up or shut up. You got to get out there and play your best and sell yourself. That's the thing. You got to sell yourself, make these people want to go over to your merch table, buy your CDs, buy your shirts, and spread the word about you. Or if you just put on, no energy, no nothing, they're not going to tell their friends. It's not going to spread the word. So, doing that has really helped us work a crowd, knowing how to act to the crowd, what they want to hear. So, that has played a huge part in us playing, I really think. So that helped prepare a lot, and that's, we got 30 minutes, the same here. These people weren't, here to see us, but they like rock, so it was a good time.
Now, Colin, new guy in the band. Tell me how you came to be in the band, when you joined, and really, Tyler and Dylan, how you guys found Colin and what he brings to the table for you guys and how he adds to the band.
Okay. Well, I guess we can start from the beginning. So Tyler and Dylan, we all have a mutual friend, but at the time it was just their friend. It was his wedding. My best friend was there. His name's Alex. I guess we can give a shout out to them. Shout out to Josh Lee and Alex Washburn. But so Alex threw my name into the hat. They were mentioning that they needed a drummer. So Alex threw my name into the hat, and I got a hold of Tyler, and we just communicated, mentioned that we liked a few of the same bands, kind of built a little bit of a connection. He sent me the songs. Took me about a week to learn them. I had 2 weeks to learn them. I got them down in about a week. Yeah, just kind of tightened things up. Went down, played. We got along really well. And then they got a hold of me like a few days later. Got with them on Labor Day, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So since then, I mean, we've been through a lot together, and especially in a short amount of time. I mean, just going on tour with Saliva, playing here. I mean, all this has happened within less than a year. So, I mean, a lot has really happened. I'm very thankful. I mean, these guys are awesome. I don't know. I'm glad that I get to play the music that I love, and get inspire. I guess that's one way you could say. We played a gig not too long ago, and this guy, he was like basically falling over me for a drumstick, and he's like, oh man, like, you have no idea how much this means to me. Like, man, if someone wanted to put my drumstick on their wall, like, that's inspiring, man. That's inspiring. It's just like, oh, okay, that's fine. But I don't know. I'll pass the Tyler. Yeah. Second half of the question.
Yeah, so I mean, how does having Colin in the band, how does he add to the band? What does he bring to the table compared to other drummers in the past? How does he add to, I guess, the dynamic of the Everyday Losers?
With Colin, I feel like we're getting more intricate because Colin is capable of doing more, I'm going to say metal type stuff. Like, that's kind of the way we were leaning for a few years. And it's just nice being able to, like, because I would come up with a lot of the drums for the previous drummers, just like the suggestions, and Colin can do it on his own. Like, I don't have to be like, I want you to do this, because he feels it. So we're actually vibing a little better. I'm not throwing anyone out. Like, just saying, like, it's just different. Yeah. It's just I get to focus on the writing a little more, and Colin can actually. We actually went to the studio, never playing the song that we had written, and finished it, and it actually sounds great. Like, we recorded everything that day. I wrote most of the parts the night before. Colin never played it before, and we just got in there and it works. It's weird, being able to do that, because like before we would record or practice for like 2 or 3 times a week for months, and then get into the studio. So it's just like, it's totally different being able to do it this way.
Awesome. It takes a little bit of stress off of you guys, helps you focus on the guitar and the bass parts a little bit more when you don't have to worry about having to write a third part and wonder who's going to play it, and can they play it, and everybody's supposed to be able to come in and write their own parts and do their own thing. So I mean, that's got to help. But you guys are out. 4th album is out now, Mono No Aware. We talked a little bit about it in the past, but the meaning of the album is a little bit of a different direction for you guys alone. It's not that there's been negative meanings in the past a lot, but there's a very positive meaning on this album title. What made you want to go in that direction? Because you got Revel in the Chaos, stuff like that, but this album, Empathy Toward Opposites, is what that means?
To others.
Yeah, others, yeah. What made you want to go in that direction? What stood out about that album title and that theme? And how did that affect the rest of the record for you guys?
Something in me kind of, like, I don't want to say angry, but I suffer from depression, Dylan, as well. And through the years, it was like we were very aggressive. We're still aggressive musically, but I would say I try to be a little more positive on this previous record. Like songs like The Common Collective specifically, it's about letting go of that hate, So in the past few years, I learned to let go, and I'm a little more understanding of how people are or why they're doing the things that they're doing. So that title is just like, it fit really well, because like we could have taken the experience that we went through with this previous recording and just been like thrown it away, just like moved on, but instead we just like fought through it because we felt a deep connection with these songs and we wanted to get them out to people. And it was cool to be able to do that and actually create a positive experience out of it, because we grew tighter, Dylan and I, as a band, because we were the only members at the time, and we just got into the studio and just recorded through all these songs. It was a much quicker experience, because in the previous studio sessions we've had, it'd take months or something, but Dylan and I did it in a couple days. And then our previous drummer, Nico, he did it, all the drum parts in one day, because like I had written a lot of the drum parts. I was just like do the like poo poo kind of thing, whatever, to try to tell him what kind of beats to do, and it was a nice cohesive flow. So
nice. Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the festival that we're at, because this is just in general, completely different than any other festival that there is. Just the setting itself at the Shawshank Prison is awesome. And tell me a little bit about playing the festival, how you guys got to be a part of it. How did that come about? And just behind the scenes, how does that happen coming on to something like this? And have you had a chance to tour the prison at all yet?
I did this.
We walked through the prison earlier, but Colin got a tour for like an artist tour, so he got to see some stuff that nobody else really gets to see. Yeah, so if you want to talk about that a bit.
Yeah, man. There was some cool stuff in there. Like they took us the first place we went through that was like kind of hidden, I guess if you want to say. We kind of went into this area over the cell blocks, and we walked up to the attic of the entire prison. And in that attic, there was a fire that happened at the Columbus prison. They had to ship some inmates up here, and so they put beds up there in that attic. And it is sweltering hot up there, no air moving, hardly. So it was a really bad place to be. Yeah, but there's names, like people all over the walls in there. People back in the 30s, because that's whenever that happened. There's signatures, like numbers, tally marks, like pictures drawn on the walls all over the place, and just from where these prisoners like passing the time, or just like leaving their little piece there. But I guess going back to the main part of the question, so the basement was pretty cool. The basement, it was all about water torture. Yeah, so like I guess it's pretty much what they use that entire basement for. There's a spot there. It's concrete over now, but they had a hole dug into the ground, and they would put prisoners down there. They had a ladder. The prisoner would climb down. They'd pull the ladder up on them. Yeah, and then dump some water down there and like commence water torture, But I guess the chick was saying that like whenever the basement flooded, it flooded one time, and there were actual prisoners in the hole, and they just left them. So like they think that there's dead bodies still buried underneath that concrete down there. Yeah, man, I'm totally down.
How do you guys get onto a festival like this?
Well, these guys, they know the promoter. I'll let Dylan explain more.
Yeah, it actually stemmed from like how many years ago do you think? 3 or 7 years ago. Or so right when we first started this, one of the promoters for this show actually used to put on like little festivals that would come through the Emerson. We used to play those all the time. You might have actually saw us there.
I might have.
Or been there.
So many bands open shows at those. Oh my
There for a while, we were there.
Yeah, we were like a lot.
2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah, and he.
opening bands.
Yeah. And so he liked us, and he actually had like a showcase for us. He brought in a record exec that found Matchbox 20, Collective Soul, Adelita's Way. So we go way back, and Tyler went to Inkcarceration last year. He got tickets from the promoter, and then he asked if we wanted to be on it this year, and we're like, absolutely. So, I don't know, it's just crazy that we just got, we're here with all these bands. Yesterday we were doing an interview, and here comes Fozzy just walking by. And, I mean, it's pretty cool, and everybody seems kind of like chill back here. And,
There's definitely some people I want to meet more than others, but like it's great. I was like, I'm not passing this opportunity. Just run over there. I need to get a picture.
Exactly. Now, Colin, you weren't a Primus shirt. I assume you're a Primus fan. I gotta ask, what do you think about them doing the Slayer tour this year?
I'm fucking stoked for that tour, dude. You have no idea how stoked I am for that tour. Slayer's one of my favorite bands. Phil Anselmo from Pantera is going to be doing Pantera songs. You can't beat that, dude. You can't beat that. And plus, Primus, dude. One of my biggest inspirations, I actually got to meet the band last year. Yeah, I got VIP for one of their shows. And I did this little extra thing where you got to spend some time with Les Claypool. So I got to spend a little time with Les, too. But, yeah, man, I love Primus, love Slayer, Pantera. Dude, it's going to be a crazy show.
You have no interest in going to any of those shows.
I don't know, man.
It might have said
Yeah, make what you will of my answer.
Hear the excitement like dripping.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think they're coming to like Ohio, somewhere in Ohio, maybe. I don't know. I had to ask what you thought of that because it's a weird placement for a tour like that, but
Yeah.
it still kind of makes sense at the same time.
Well, Primus said something last year about doing something with Slayer, and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. Yeah. And then they announced this, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, I guess it's really happening.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you guys played yesterday. You're here for the weekend. After this festival's over, I heard you talk about it in an interview earlier. You've recorded a song that's unreleased that's going to be coming out. When this festival's done, what's coming up next for you guys?
We've got a music video for our third single, Melancholia, coming out, and it should be August. That's actually the third video that we've done for this last album, and we've worked with the same director, and he's the one that's actually helping the movie. So we're going to be... We've been asked to do 2 songs for that movie. We got the first song finished, and it's a pretty cool song. We're just, doing what we usually do, just play the weekends until something big comes up. We're gonna do another tour. Yeah, so.
Stuff coming up with Saliva, I think I saw.
We just made a show.
We just played with Saliva 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Vincennes, Indiana. Yeah.
20 minutes from our house.
Right.
So.
I mean, coming from a town like Washington, small town, does that add a little bit of motivation to succeed and do well to kind of get out? Because I'm from a small town where nobody ever leaves or does anything. I mean, does that kind of add to the motivation of the fire to kind of go do this?
There's people in the town that are like, I'm really proud of you guys for being able to do this for our town, So like we run into those people, and then we get, like people that come up and recognize us, or we'll be in Walmart and someone will ask for our autograph. It's like, I mean, I live here, but it's cool.
My favorite are like the people that used to put you down and stuff like that. Like, oh man, you're not gonna do shit with playing music, and it's like, oh really? Like, okay, well, where was your tour? When did you play at a festival?
What bands have you played with?
I've had that when I first started my side. I had a friend. Actually a friend who was writing for me, and at first I'm like, we got to use deadlines, get stuff up. He's like, I don't know why this isn't gonna go anywhere. And now I'll send messages. I'm like, hey man.
Like, what's up?
Yeah.
Like,
Remember when you said this wasn't going anywhere? Guys, I mean, it definitely helps, man. But guys, thanks for taking time. The set fucking killed yesterday. Thank you. Superheroes with the circle pit was so much fun to watch.
That was awesome.
How do you beat that?
Yeah.
It was a super pit, man.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, have fun the rest of the weekend, and we'll see you guys again down the road, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
man, for sure.
Guys, cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, dude.